Sukhi Hoto. Welcome to Buddhist Mahavihara's Facebook page this evening. For today's session on Dhammadana series, I would like to welcome Bhante Kotavaye Suseela Thero to join us at the studio. Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening to you.
This evening's talk is on the 8 worldly vicissitudes, which Bhante will be talking to us about, sharing the teachings of the Buddha. So, before we dive into the topic, let me give a small introduction about Bhante. Bhante Kottavaya Suseela Thero is a meditation teacher and is also a spiritual advisor who has lived in North America for almost a decade. Currently, he is the spiritual director and abbot for both Alberta Insight Meditation Center in Canada and Jayasumana Rama Mahavihara in Sri Lanka. Also, he serves as the Buddhist chaplain at the North Alberta's Institute of Technology. Bhante has also given Dhamma talks at the Buddhist Mahavihara Malaysia and was one of the facilitators at the BMV Novitiate program in 2019. Now I would like to hand over the studio to Bhante to start the Dhamma session.
Thank you, Dhyani. So, good evening to everyone. It is a pleasure to see you all again and meet you all again at Buddhist Mahavihara. And thank you for inviting me to deliver a Dhamma speech tonight. And so, let's start the Dhamma talk. So, I will be sharing Dhamma with you. And please listen closely and carefully. නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස නමෝ තස්ස භගවතෝ අරහතෝ සම්මා සම්බුද්දස්ස බුද්ධං ධම්මං සංඝං නමස්සාමි. Dear Dhamma friends, this is a very critical situation around the world for all of us. Even though many things were happening around the world, luckily we did have this and we do have this technology. Therefore, we can meet no matter where we are. And I'm really happy about this occasion today because I was invited to deliver this Dhamma speech at Buddhist Mahavihara at Dhammadana series. And also I have delivered and provided many teachings before as well. Now it is 6:35 a.m. in Canada and it is 8:35 in Malaysia. Doesn't matter wherever you are coming from and joining from. Now we are ready to listen to the Dhamma. Dhamma is the only teacher for us, and Dhamma is the only relief for us during this period. We all were, and we all are, some of the countries and some of you are still kind of home arrested because of the restrictions. However, being at home and working from home might be a little bit stressful. though we don't have a choice. We don't have to do anything with that. We have to obey to the law, obey to the restrictions, and obey to the uh, what everyone does. So therefore, I thought it is better to share a portion of Dhamma from the Buddha that we can manage ourselves wisely during this period. Definitely you might heard and you might listen and practice many Dhamma. So this will be, or this might be the another one, but listening to the same teaching, listening to the same Dhamma is a benefited thing that we can recall ourselves and we can uh, refresh our knowledge. So therefore, let's try to understand what I'm going to tell today, and I will try to describe, simplify what Buddha taught with this topic. Today's topic is the 8 worldly vicissitudes. Vicissitudes. The definition for it is changing. Vicissitude mean changing and unbalancing or fluctuating. The world always fluctuate. The world always subject to change. So we cannot control it. We cannot control the world. The world always subject to change. It doesn't matter where we are, who we are. So the thing is that we need to understand what the world is. Before we go through these teachings, I would remind or I would clarify what is the world is. Friends, Buddha has given a definition to the world. Usually we talk about and we think about the world as the earth and the surrounding materials of us. But Buddha has given another definition for this, and there was another nice story actually. One day a person came to the Buddha, and after greetings, Buddha asked, "Where you been? Because long time no see." Then that person said, "Yes, Bhante, I was wandering around the world day and night to find the end of the world and the beginning of the world." Then Buddha asked, "Did you find it?" He said, "No." Then Buddha said, "No one can find the beginning or the end of the world by traveling. By traveling, we cannot find the world's end or the beginning." Why is that? We travel with the world. We travel with the world. How it happens? According to the Buddha, the world is, it is nowhere else. It is within us. The world is within us. What is it? This entire body that we are having. We have 6 worlds within us, especially 5. Then the 6th one is included. We have eyes, we have ears, we have the nose, and the tongue, and the body. So we experience the world, or whatever in the world we experience from these through senses. We experience the world through these senses, and we can see, we can hear, we can smell, we can taste, we can touch, and also we can think. We can think. Then, whatever we experience through the senses, that becomes the world for us. That's the world for us. And wherever we go, wherever we travel, we can see, we can hear, we can smell, we can taste, we can touch, we can think. Isn't it surprise? So this afternoon something happened on Facebook with a Facebook comment. I posted a video clip from Canada environment because it was very nice few weeks before with the fall colors, and one of my friends commented on it, Bhante, it doesn't matter, I mostly liked the Sri Lankan environment. That's the most beautiful area. That was so interesting. Then I replied back saying that doesn't matter the nature where it is, because the mother nature is always beautiful no matter where it is. It could be drying, it could be snowing, it could be very warm, and it could be very grainy. It doesn't matter. The matter is how we accept it. How we accept it. Because we are living in the earth. We have put borders. We have put boundaries among us, and we have separated ourselves with these boundaries, saying that I'm a Sri Lankan, I'm a Malaysian, I'm a Canadian, I'm an American, I'm an Australian, and I'm black, you are white, and you are brown. So this kind of separations among us. Then when we put those boundaries, we don't see the beauty of the world. We don't see the beauty of the world. So therefore, wherever we live, whoever we associated with, which language we are talking about, it doesn't matter. It's all about the experience of the world. So therefore, the Buddha mentioned, you cannot find the beginning or the end of the world by traveling. The world is world. So basically, friends, the world is this our body, which we are carrying everywhere and which we are experiencing. And my world is completely separate from your world because the experience is completely separate. So the teaching that I'm going to talk today is subject to everyone, but the experience is completely different from each one of us. If I go to the second slide that I'm talking about, so I tried to categorize the world in this way. What it is, the physical world and the mental world. That's the world that we are having. We have physical world, we have mental world. I try to define it with earlier details. The physical world is that our sensory experiences through the eyes, the nose, ear, tongue, and the body. Then, with this physical world, we see aging. We get old. Sometimes, some people ask, "How old are you? How old are you?" Then we say a number. We say a number. Old means we are decaying. We are getting old. We are getting rid of. And we're reaching that day by day. So, aging. Aging is subject to this body. And sicknesses. We get sick. See, from one sickness, the whole world collapsed and put it down. One single virus was able to under control the whole world. This ability of humans, isn't it surprise? And we get sicknesses, and during these 2 years, millions of people died. Millions of people died. And that's subject to us. That's subject to us. That's a physical world experience. Not only that, during this lifetime, when we live on this planet, we have to face to these natural disasters. There are so many natural disasters in the world. We face for flooding. It's everywhere. Then volcanoes, droughts, and wildfire, so forth. So many disasters are happening around the world. So those areas would categorize or define as physical world. Physical world. Then what is the mental world? These two worlds are two separate entities, but they have some simultaneous aspect. Stress, tension, anger, ignorance, frustration, rejection, or unmindfulness. And those areas arise from the mind. That's the mental world. And not only that, mindfulness, kindness, friendliness, generosity, and kind-heartedness, loving kindness, and so forth. The mind has these abilities of the mind, and mind generates those intentions, those thoughts, and those mentalities within us. The mental world. The mind gets those experiences. Why that? Why is that? The physical world, in the physical world, we experience our material experiences, like what we physically experience. And mentally, we get burnt out and we get frustrated, we get stressed because of these physical experiences. See, they work together and they work simultaneously and they stay together, but the experience could be different. Just think about, maybe if we face to the flooding this year, and after a couple of years, still we can recall that and get stress. But the physical thing was over and done, but the mental world is still carrying with us and with us, and still we recall it. So this is the world. It's always unbalanced. Vicissitude means it unbalanced. It doesn't have always a balance in the world. If it is happening in the flat range, it's not beautiful. Those things are subject to the world, and we also a part of the world. The thing is, we think we control the world and we have the ability of controlling it, and we think the world must be as we want. Then we don't understand the vicissitude or the changing of the world because of our ignorance, because of our delusion, because of our unmindfulness, because of our endless needness, endless wantings. So just get an idea how the world is how the world is unbalancing. Who make it? Who makes the world unbalanced? We do it. We do it. So nobody can change it for us. But what others do, that effect for us. What others do, that effect. But we can change it if we want. So then if I move to the other teachings of the Buddha, to understand how we can change the world, or how we can realize what Buddha has taught, this is how Buddha described it. How was it? The world always have two sides. Buddha says we have gains and we lose. And we have fame and we have disrepute. We are praised sometimes and we are blamed too. We have pleasures and we have pain or displeasures as well. Let's go through these meanings. Gains or earning or benefiting. We are always happy about it. We are always happy about what we gained, what we earned, what we benefiting. And we are enthusiastic with those receivings and with those benefits. We are so much delightful with earning or gaining. When we accumulate, we are so much happy. So then we live happily and we share it with others too. And sometimes we lose things or we don't get benefits. We are unbenefited from those things. So this is a one pair of the teachings of the vicissitudes, gaining and losing. This always fluctuate. So we worked hard to be benefited, to earn things, to gain things. We don't work to lose anything. We don't want to. So what happens to us with gainings or receivings or benefits, we are so much delightful and enthusiastic and we happy about it. And we say, I live happily. And I'm a lucky person. So when we lose, we say, oh, I'm losing. I'm an unlucky person. And we cannot bear it. And we are not ready to accept it. That losing. But this always fluctuates. See, these days, some of you are unemployed because laid off. And some people might be having 2 jobs, then lost one. And some people directly lost their jobs and stay at home. And we had something, now we don't have. We don't have choice. We just experience it. Gaining and losing. Not only that, all the institutes are having the same result. All the institute are having the same result and everyone is in the same boat. No matter how they are rich and stronger and powerful or poor or whatever the status, we have gaining and losing. So the next one is fame. Fame, and the opposite of it, disrepute. Fame, reputation, status. We maintain it. But sometimes we lose it and we don't get it. And we are disreputed, disrespected, and lack of respect. And we always have these fluctuation, ups and downs. That's subject to us. So who is watching this talk, watching this sharing, we all are in the world, it is subject to us. And the third one is, third pair, praise and blame. Sometimes we are appreciated and welcoming and accepting or admiring, but sometimes we are blamed, unwelcoming, or sometimes we are complained. Sometimes we are not accepted. That happens. And we get these fluctuations or changes of the life. And the fourth sphere is pleasure and pain, or displeasure. Pleasure is the happiness or enthusiasm. And we always have pleasure or happiness or enthusiasm or delightfulness, what we are having or what we are receiving or what we are doing in the world. With anything else, we have different aspects to be happy, to be uh, enthusiastic. And also that sometimes it doesn't last, and it changes. It changes to pain or unhappiness or displeasure or the unconditional things. And so it always ups and downs, this happiness and unhappiness. So if we draw a line and put the happiness top of it and put the unhappiness underneath it, this changes, this rotates. We cannot control it. So this is what Buddha taught. The world always rotates. We cannot change it. And the 8 worldly conditions revolve the world, or these 8 turn the world around. These 8 turn the world around, and we call that vicissitudes, or we call it changes. In Pali, we call it Lokadhamma or Attalokadhamma. Labha, alabha, yasa, ayasa, ninda, pasansa, sapa, dukkha. So those are the Pali words. Then Buddha taught the world always fluctuate. So what we can do with this, because we cannot change this, we cannot stop those things are happening in the world, because that's the part of the world. Then what is the Buddha's teaching? He introduced this as a part of world and as part of our experience. When we talk about the world doesn't describe without us, because we also are part of the world. So if I see how we can balance the world, this is the unbalancing of the world, and we'll see, and let's see how we can balance the world. The balancing of the world, how to be balanced, how we can balance. In my understanding, we can balance the world with the understanding of the Buddha's teaching. What we have to do? With the physical world, we have very limited controls to balance it. As I mentioned earlier, with the physical world, we are aging, we get old. none of us able to control it. We know that some celebrities and some wealthy people in the world try to control themselves or try to control the aging, but they never last and they never continued it. Halfway through, they just passed away. So we cannot control the world, but the thing is we can accept it. We have to accept the world as it is. It doesn't say we have to just be without doing anything. We have to do, definitely, of course, we have to do whatever we have to do, but that should be very wise reactions. We cannot control the aging. We have to just accept it. And we cannot control the sicknesses permanently. There are treatments. There are people who have the ability to reduce it, and we can get treatments and medications. Then we can under control it. If we think the sicknesses are permanently gone, no, never. That never happens. Even for this COVID, we were having similar experiences in the old days. And now in this time, during this time, we are also experiencing it. But when we see the world history, there are so many things were happening. And this is our experience. So sicknesses, we cannot control, but there are some medications and treatments that we can overpower it. We can suppress it. And we have to get those. And we cannot stop natural disasters. We cannot stop natural disasters because these natural disasters happen because of our ignorance. See, this planet have enough wealth. We have enough water, we have enough food, we have enough medication, natural medication, herbals, we have enough air. Finally, with our ignorance, with our unwiseness and foolishness, nowadays some countries purchase the oxygen. Isn't it so funny? Some countries purchase oxygen from other countries. Why is that? They have lost their natural resources. Because of what? Because of their ignorance, because of their foolishness, because of their uncontrolled mindset. So, natural disasters we never stopped. We cannot do it. We have to accept it as it is. But we need to get the precautions. We need to get the precautions. And we cannot stop the death. We will die. That's the nature. We have to accept. We cannot control it. We cannot control it. And the other natural things, let it happen. We have to understand it and we have to realize and we have to just be with it. We have to accept the physical world experiences, and that is not enough just only accepting. What we have to do is we have to practice. We have to apply that acceptance within us. How we do it? We have to practice our mind, or we have to train the mind. How we train the mind? We have to accept, and we have to be united, and we have to be tolerated, and we should be kind and mindful and loving kindness, compassion, need to be generous, and need to understand the reality of the world, and we have to see through it. We have to train ourselves not to fight with the world, but to accept the world as it is. And we all have to accept that we have broken up the equilibrium of the world. We have broken up the equilibrium of the world. That's why the world is always unbalanced. Then we have to understand, we have to practice it. We have to practice what we have to do. So Buddha says, the world always fluctuates and changes. We should be wise. We should be mindful with the world. And we have to think, I am not the only person who's living in this planet. We have to respect to others, and we have to respect to others' status. We have to respect to others' wantings and needness. And we have to understand the world very wisely. I am not the only person who lives in this world, in this planet. So therefore, we have to make it balance. It's up to you. It is not the Buddha's job. It is not someone else's job. It is your job to be balanced or unbalanced, to accept or not. The world is the nature. It's a natural process. No one can control it. The people who want to control it, they get results. They get very bad results because of their ignorance. So therefore, just try to understand, instead of trying to balancing others, we can balance ourselves, we can control ourselves, and we can manage ourselves. Buddha has taught, and Buddha has given the teachings to us, then we have to apply it. It's up to us. So, my suggestion with this teaching, we cannot avoid those 8 vicissitudes or 8 world changes, and we have to accept it. We have to apply the practice. We have to do practice. We have to manage ourselves. It doesn't matter where we are and what we are doing, who we are. Sometimes you think, I'm busy with my work, I'm busy with my family, I'm busy with my blah blah blah. But do you think that you can escape from these changes when those happens? No, you cannot run away. There is no place to hide. No one can protect us. Sometimes when disasters happening and when some unhappy conditions are happening, you just run to the temple to talk to the monks to get a relief. Yes, definitely we can talk to you, but we cannot stop those things are happening there. Why? It's not in our control. what we get from the teachings then? The teachings of the Buddha give us the authority or the power to practice and get the results from it. Then, understandingly, we don't escape. We don't run away. Why? We know those things are subject to happen to the world and to life. So we just accept it. And we try to reduce the power of that disaster or whatever happens, but mindfully we handle it. This unmindful world always runs somewhere else to be protected. There's a story about a king. Predictors, future tellers, once predicted to king. Actually, most of the kings who are in the world and who were in the world, they are fools. They can be foolish very well by others, especially like ancient people. Not in the Asia especially, but everywhere, but mostly that we know, many ancient kings go mad or fooled by others. So one day one of future tellers said, Your Majesty, you will be bitten by a snake and you have to escape from it. Then the king thought, okay, I have to run away. Then he made a ship and he planned to run away. Then he got into the ship and got into the water and went away from his land. Then, while he was in the ocean, he was drawing a snake's head on the wall of the ship. And he was just talking to the snake and said, Oh, so if I were in the land, this is where you're going to bite me, and it just hit to the head of the snake. There was a rustic piece of nail, and that hit the king, and he died. It's just a story, which means even though you are a king, you are unsafe. You cannot run away from your fate. You cannot run away from your nature. It doesn't matter wherever we are. So therefore, Buddha says, there is no any place in this world that we can hide from our behaviors. We cannot hide from our behaviors. Therefore, we need to understand what is the world is. So let's try to understand the vicissitudes of the world, changes of the world, nature of the world. Let's try to be balanced ourselves no matter what. That's the benefits of the teaching. That's the teaching of the Buddha that we have to follow. So this is what I have to share with you. And if you have any concern or any question, and I'm ready to listen to those questions and provide some answers.
Thank you, Bhante, for sharing this insightful Dhamma with us. I will share some of the questions that I received from the audience on the screen.
Well, thank you, sister, for your question. Yes, the world always like this, and we cannot escape from it. And when others are feel this, or when others are experience it in this cycle or in this samsara, so we don't have anything to do with that, because only thing that we can share with them the dhamma, and we can support them. But it is the world's responsibility to understand what the world is, what is happening. And there's a there's a story for it. We can we can take the horse to the water, but we cannot make it drink. We cannot take the horse to the water, but we cannot make it drink. So therefore, the world is going in that way. We can try to educate the world. Sometimes we are unable to do it. However, we have even, I do have some sadness. I do have some worrying about the world, why this happens and why people don't understand this. But we cannot control it and we cannot handle it. But only thing is we can understand ourselves, and we can try to make them sense what we have to do is. I hope I understood your question, and my answer is okay with you.
Bhante, there is one more question. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand your concern, and this is the nature that you have to accept, and that's a natural thing that we get angry, or that we get anger or frustration because of our needs and because of our lack of ability of doing things. So what we have to do is apply more patience. And as an experienced person in the world, as an uh, educated person, and as a person who is into Dhamma, and you have more courage. And thank you for asking that directly, because some people are kind of shy to ask. But this is a good question. Yes, we get old and we get uh, disabled day by day, sometimes because of our lack of ability. But try to be happy, because among these millions of people, see, you have understand your matter. You have understood your matter, what is going on. That's very easy to resolve, because you know what it is. The thing is with the world is they don't understand what's happening to them. But you are lucky. Why? You have understood what happens to you. That's the first step that you can understand and that you can realize it. So therefore, that understanding is more valuable than the other things. And you are able to handle yourself, apply more compassion, more love, more kindness, and more mindfulness to your life, and try to be grateful, thankful to others. And this is a practice actually. We have to apply and we have to uh, use it and we have to apply it in our daily life. And verbally, mentally, and physically, we have to use those practices. Those are good things and good practices that Buddha taught, and we have to apply them and try it and see how it changes. But I know when we are in the same place with people for a long time, nothing changes. So that we could get some stress and unhappy surrounding, but nothing to do with that then. Just accept the nature and try to make ourselves change.
Thank you, Bhante, for answering the question. Uh, there's one last question. I think we can share this as well.
David, no, sir. The Buddha's teaching is not difficult to understand. It is not difficult to practice. Why? Many people and many practitioners get these teachings as a hardship. And if I try to elaborate this, it's going to be another sermon. But briefly, Buddha's teaching is a way of living. Buddha's teaching, Buddha taught a way of living. How we live mindfully, compassionately, kindly, generously, kind-heartedly we live. And we avoid other unharmful facts, unharmful matters, practices. It is not something spontaneous, or it is not something we get from foreigners. It's about ourselves. Foreign means it's not from someone else. It's ours. The practice is very easy. The Dhamma is easy because what happened to us, the world think being spiritual and having a secular life is completely two separate entities. That is a complete wrong idea. Spirituality doesn't define without the secular life. Being secular life, having a secular life and being spiritual is the same thing, because same person. So therefore, Dhamma or the teachings of the Buddha is a living style, a living passion. And yesterday I defined meditation as a living style because it is not separating from our life, our practice. So it is very comfortable to practice. And I might say Buddha has realized and taught this path is so comfortable and safe, and also it is long last, and we can apply, doesn't matter the time, it's timeless. And we might have the right view, the mindfulness, and the effort to get the result. And if we are with lack of results, which means maybe we are morally lack of moral conduct, lack of moral conducts, and lack of mindfulness, lack of understanding or right view. So therefore, just focus on those areas and make your mind, we can do it, we can have it, and we can practice it, because this can be the last life that we are having a chance to do it, maybe we will not have for a while then. Who knows? And the effort must be made today. The effort must be made today. The death may come tomorrow. Who knows?
Thank you, Bhante. It was really helpful. So now I would like to invite Bhante to conduct the Anumodana for the Devas and the departed.
So, dear friends, we spend an hour of time to elaborate and describe the teachings of the Buddha, and let's share these accumulations, these merits with departed beloved relatives and friends, and as well as all heavenly beings, deities, and also who are willing to partake these great accumulations with us. And may they partake these merits, and may they fulfill their wishes. And finally, may they attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. With that intention, we may share the merits. Akasattha ca bhummattha devanaga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu sasanam chiram rakkhantu desanam chiram rakkhantu mang param idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. So by the power of this accumulation, you all may be healthy and safe, and stay safe, and try to practice and apply the Dhamma as much as you can, and try to live with the Dhamma. Finally, we all may be able to realize the great teachings of the Buddha and attain to the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Abhivadana Silis Nichang Uddapachayino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balan Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Minate Samijjatu.
Thank you, Bhante, for conducting the Anumodana. We have almost come to the end of the Dhamma talk now. And before the end, I would like to thank Bhante, Suseela Thero, on behalf of the committee and the management of the Buddhist Mahavihara. And I would also like to thank today's sponsors and everyone, those who have joined us this evening. Thank you. Sukhi Hot.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me and sharing the Dhamma with me. Thank you.